I built a company that changed my life during a time when I was fighting with Crohn's disease. I was scared out of my mind. I had every logical reason to play it safe, but I also knew something most people don't. Fear doesn't mean stop. Most people wait for fear to disappear before they take action. That's why they stay stuck. That day never comes. But successful people, they learn to use fear to their advantage. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do the same. See, fear isn't the enemy. It isn't even the problem. The real problem is something else. Most people think fear is the reason they're stuck, but I believe it's something much deeper than that. People think if they could just get rid of the fear, everything else would fall into place. If they weren't scared of failure, they'd start the business. If they weren't scared of rejection, they'd make the call. If they weren't scared of looking stupid, they would take the leap. Think about it. If fear was truly the problem, no one would ever take risks. No one would ever build businesses. No one would ever take the stage or make bold moves. But you know what? They do. And that's because they've learned a simple truth. Fear is just energy. It's adrenaline. Fear is just a biological response. It's like a smoke alarm going off. It doesn't mean there's a fire. It just means your brain has detected something new. See, your brain isn't designed to make you successful. It's designed to keep you alive. And anything unknown and uncertain registers as a threat, even if it's something that could change your life for the better. That's why stepping outside of your comfort zone feels so uncomfortable, because your brain is literally trying to stop you from doing something different. Because in its mind, different equals danger. But what if I told you that most successful people in the world feel fear the same way that you do, as much as you do? The difference isn't that they have less fear, but they have trained themselves to act anyway. Most people wait for the fear to go away before they take action. They tell themselves, I'll start when I feel ready. But that moment never comes. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and eventually they look back and they realize they've wasted so much time for a feeling that was never going to disappear. That's why successful people don't wait. They act first. They move before they feel ready. And it's because of that, fear doesn't control them. They control fear. So, fear is not the actual problem. How you respond to it is the real problem. You get to decide what to do with fear. Instead of asking, how do I stop being scared? Start asking, how do I take action while I'm scared? And once you do that, guess what? You stop waiting. You stop hesitating. You start moving in the direction that you actually want to go. See, the second you take action, something powerful happens inside of your brain. Your brain realizes that the fear that you were facing was exaggerated. It starts shifting the focus from what could go wrong to what needs to happen next. Instead of obsessing over worst case scenarios, your brain starts looking for solutions. It starts moving from freeze mode to forward mode. I'll give you an example. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cold swimming pool, and you know that once you jump in, your body will adjust. But in that moment, before jumping in, your brain is in full resistance mode. It's gonna be freezing. This is gonna suck. You hesitate, you overthink. But the second you jump in, your brain stops resisting and it starts adapting. Within seconds, your body gets used to the water and the fear disappears. So when you take action, your brain shifts from panic mode to problem-solving mode. This is exactly how fear works in every area of life. It feels paralyzing when you're standing at the edge, but the moment you move, fear is gonna lose its grip on you. Action literally rewires your brain. The more you take action despite the fear, the less power fear will have over you. Your brain stops seeing that thing as a threat. So if you're sitting there waiting to feel ready, I need you to understand that readiness is a lie. You will never feel fully ready, and that's okay. I was not ready to get married. I was half ready. I was not ready to have kids. I was half ready. I was not ready to start that business. But guess what? I just took the first step and all the fear went away. The fastest way to kill fear is to do the thing that you're afraid of before you feel ready. Every time you do this, you become stronger. Fear starts losing its control, and eventually you stop seeing fear as a roadblock and you start seeing it as a green light to take action. You now know that fear isn't the problem. problem. You now know that only action can stop fear from controlling life. But what if I told you that sometimes you don't even know what you're fully afraid of? This is why the first step to overcome your fear of failure is to identify the fear. Don't let fear sit in the back of your mind as this vague, overwhelming thing. You need to define your fear. Ask yourself this: what am I actually afraid of? Is it rejection? Is it looking stupid? Failing? Get specific. Once you do this, your fear stops feeling like this massive, uncontrollable monster, and then you turn it into something that you can actually deal with. Now, take it a step further. What's the worst case scenario? If you fail, what actually happens? 99% of the time when you break it down, the worst case scenario isn't as bad as your brain made it out to be in the beginning. And even if it's that bad, guess what? You can handle it. You've overcome worse. The unknown is always scarier than reality, but the moment you shine the light on it, fear loses its power. I've seen so many people, because they try and tackle the entire mountain at once. They look at the big picture and guess what? They get overwhelmed. But I want you to shrink the risk, which is the second step. What's the smallest step you can take right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Maybe it's making one phone call, sending one email, practicing for 5 minutes. Whatever it is, do it. Because every time you take a small step, your brain starts seeing progress, and progress builds momentum. This is exactly how confidence is built. Not by waiting for you to feel unstoppable, but by collecting small wins that prove to your brain that I can do this. The more small wins you stack, the less fear will have a grip on you. And suddenly, this thing that once seemed impossible starts to feel normal. Do not wait until the last minute to do something and get it done. Set deadlines and stick to them, which brings us to the third step. Take forced action. The deadline can't just be a personal deadline that you set for yourself. It has to be something that creates a real accountability. So tell a friend, make a public comment, put money on the line. Do something that forces you to follow through. When you set a no back out deadline, you don't give fear any room to creep in. You take the choice out of the equation. It's not, should I do this? It's, this is happening no matter what. If fear of failure has been stopping you from creating the life that you actually want, then it's time to change that. I have built a team of over 700 agents who have not only transformed their income, but completely upgraded their lives because they took action. If you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start building real freedom, book a private one-on-one Zoom call with me. You'll get an exclusive look at how I help people escape the 9-to-5, build residual income, and create a legacy for themselves and their families. Tap the link on the screen or in the description box below, and let's make it happen.